All right, we are live. What is up, YouTube? It's K right here. Sorry that I wasn't able to finish up the live. I unfortunately went to bed pretty early, around 10 p.m., and I apologize that I wasn't really able to make that commitment to make sure that I turned off the live. But hey, we all make mistakes. Everything comes and goes in life, so you can't really keep yourself a promise and trying to get everything responsibly handled. So I just deleted it, and I'm going to repay back the offer with finishing up this live stream. So what's up, y'all? It's K-Rod here. We're back again with another good live stream. All right, so let's get right to it. We started off with our first topic with Ryan Garcia, how I believe he is a cherry picking pussy. Ryan Garcia, he's obviously making the worst excuses to not fight Devin Haney now. He said that Devin Haney is not interesting to me. He's boring to watch, which we always know what that translation means is that he's a very dangerous fighter. He does not want the smoke with Devin Haney, and it makes perfect sense because Ryan Garcia knows where his mindset is at in fighting a guy like Devin Haney. And I think Devin Haney has pretty much shown to the world why nobody doesn't want to fight him because he's so hard to hit. And it's true because Devin Haney had proven in the Yuriokas Gamboa fight that he took the least amount of punishment while beating the living breaks out of Gamboa. Which I mean he actually fought Gamboa with a broken hand. So for all you fucking idiots that say that Devin Haney was not trying his best against Gamboa. It was a lackluster performance. No, it wasn't. Devin Haney had a broken hand. In that fight, he did not want to say it to anybody. But yeah, unfortunately, he broke his hand. So there's no excuses behind that. Devin Haney is a damn good fighter, and he's shown himself to the world why he is a real champion. And I really take my hat off to him because I don't think any boxer would ever want to fight with a broken hand. I mean, Tevin Farmer does it. He's a true warrior. But I mean, most boxers do not want to keep going if you have a broken hand because obviously when you have like a broken hand and you're in a fight, you're going to fuck that hand up more and that's going to affect, your hand to a point where you're going to probably bleed some vessel or pop some blood vessels and that could lead to traumatic, injury. But I'm very happy that Devin Haney beat the living breaks out of Gamboa and showed why he's a true champion, and he made himself look good. I really give my deepest respect to Devin Haney, and maybe that's why Ryan Garcia doesn't want to fight him. I don't know why. Ryan Garcia says he beats everybody, but yet he's not going to fight everybody because he's making the excuses to not beat up Devin Haney. Look, I want to see Ryan Garcia lose now because I'm losing a lot of respect for him. Like, if you guys know me, I'm not a respectful person. Like, I am, like, to people, but when it comes to sports, if you're not going to respect me, then I'm going to not respect you until you respect me. So I think with Ryan Garcia, he is proving himself to be the biggest fraud in sports because Ryan Garcia knows that he's not doing himself a favor by making excuses to not fight Devin, lying to the public to say that you're gonna fight Manny Pacquiao, but then backtracking on that to say that the fight is now canceled, and now you're gonna go back to finding real opponents in your weight division. And it's just absolutely disgusting for the sport of boxing because Ryan Garcia, he can box his socks off, but technical wise, he gets his ass beat. Ryan Garcia is like a wannabe Oscar De La Hoya pretending he's like the best fighter on the planet. He's like Ippo from Hajime no Ippo. He's so cheerful. He's like ready to like come out of his shell and start, making himself into a better fighter and a warrior. But then come to find out that Ippo, he doesn't have all the tools in the toolbox to beat the top guys. He gets his ass knocked the hell out because he thinks he's better than them. But guess what? do you have the tools to beat this guy? You could be as old as you can in the game of boxing, but if you have more tools than your opponent that is quote unquote younger than you and more actively gifted than you, or athletically gifted, sorry, then it doesn't mean shit, because if the opponent does not have better tools than you do in skill set, then you automatically win the fight. But I mean, anything happens in boxing. You could hurt that person that's more talented than you, and that other fighter might have more heart, even though that he or she is inexperienced in championship level fights, where they could still throw punches and bunches, and as long as they're staying busy with the punches, they can make themselves more susceptible to win the fight. But for Ryan Garcia, that's how I think of him. He's like Ippo from Hajime no Ippo. Very courageous, looks like he's ready for a world title, but it just doesn't seem like he's there. And I don't know if it's just Ryan Garcia's ego that's holding him back, or just him not thinking straight to make himself a more notable, opponent. And I think that the Luke Campbell fight was obviously a good test, but wasn't good enough on the level where he's going to be ready for Gervonta in his next fight. So the problem with Ryan Garcia is just that he makes the worst excuses to say that he's going to go and, fight the best, but he's not really fighting the best. He's obviously making the worst excuses ever. And I think Ryan Garcia, he is a pussy at this point, where he's going to get knocked out by somebody that is not going to be known. And it's going to be a huge embarrassment on his behalf to lose his record and lose his confidence and lose his legacy. So that's the first topic I wanted to point out. I think Ryan Garcia just needs to work on a couple tools. Get the hell out of Canelo's camp. Stop listening to Eddie Reynoso and all those guys to say that, you need more work, when it's mainly you just need to work on your skills, and you need to really find a better team that can give you a better, a better brand of maturity, because I think that's what Ryan needs. And I think mentally, for his health, he really needs to keep away from people that try to feed him the wrong information, because Ryan Garcia is just not that type of guy to, really talk well with a lot of fans and attention brought to him. So, we've already seen it from the Mike Tyson Hotboxing podcast. He fucked up there, so we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But the next topic I want to go into, I'm obviously going to try to keep this stream as short as possible. There's only 3 topics. Next topic is TeoFeHoe Lopez, the biggest bitch in boxing, that somehow won the purse bid with Top Rank against him, where he got more money to be outbidded by Triller. This is a new entertainment network that was formed not so long ago, now bought out Teofimo Lopez for more money for the George Kambosos fight, which I don't really think this is really helping. I think Teofimo, he's actually losing here rather than winning. But I say it's good that a fighter should fight against his or her promoter to have more money, because you need to fight dime and penny for everything you do. You put your life on the line. You make sure that you keep yourself safe after and before the fight. Justice for Deontay Wilder. But that's how I kind of see it with Teofimo. It's good that you are doing that towards Bob Arum, but it's a bad idea, because guess what? You're going to be walking back to Bob Arum, because Bob Arum, he's going to lowball you from now on, knowing that you have 3 belts. You do not have the 4th belt, you piece of shit idiot. And he just thinks like he's so rich, for getting such a good deal with Triller, which I believe but the fight itself is $6 million. So I think Teofimo's getting 3.3 and Kambosos is getting like 2.5 or 2 point something million, which, I mean, that's good money, decent money for Kambosos, but for Teofimo, no, it's not. Teofimo is still having to pay off his sanctioning fees. which that's gonna be like 20% each for all three belts. So that's like 60% of the money gone. And you have to pay top rank. That's 15%, 10% for your dad. So TeoFeHoe, like after all the taxes and all the extortioning fees taken out, he's only making like $935,000 from the fight, and that's just mainly due to the calculation of how much like the fight is worth and how much money's going to be taken out for the sanctioning fees. Which I really wish sanctioning fees were not there for boxing, because it's like, like you don't see WWE wrestlers paying sanctioning fees for their belts. So why the hell are boxers paying sanctioning fees? Like why is it that the NBA is not giving out sanctioning fees for NBA players? Oh, you win a title? Yeah, you need to give up more money to represent the defending championship, right? So it's like, why is it that boxing gets a pass? But the sport needs to be well organized with a governing institutional body where you don't have to pay sanctioning fees. Everything is all commissioned through, athletic fight league organizations where you're fighting for titles, but you're fighting for one face, one name. That like, that's how everything should be in boxing. Like, you should not be taking these like backpedal fights here, fighting a bunch of bums over here, like trying to pad up your record before you challenge people in the world rankings. And then, you have to go through all these bullshit contract stipulations and whatnot. No, get the hell out of here. That should not be accepted. That should all be thrown out the window, and it should just be four belts, if not one belt, for every division, one face, one name. I mean, honestly, I'm perfectly fine with four belts, but get rid of the WBC, replace it with the WXZ, the World Extreme Boxing. Yeah, the WXB. Like, I would call it something a lot different. The Prestigious Boxing Championship. Yeah, like the PBC belt, Premier Boxing Championship belt. But it's just kind of cool that you kind of have something like that. But if you had it in four major sanctioning bodies or just title belt commission agencies, no sanctioning fees. It's all being paid through advertisements and through sponsorships. I think that's how belts should be funded. They should be funded by the consumer, not funded by the fighters, because that's pretty much like a ripoff for more extra money, especially with all these crappy semi titles that are made for fighters that doesn't even help them. It just kind of destroys them, and it's not really giving them a proper opportunity for them to grow. And it's just going to rip their future paydays. So it's like, why the hell should you really need all these belts? If you're not going to get paid all the money you deserve, if you're having to be extorted for most of it. So I think TeoFeHoe, he's at a loss with this deal. Obviously, it would have been a lot worse with him and Bob Arum, because he's having to pay more money, or he's probably losing more money out of pocket, right? To not be able to get enough money out of the, Cambosos fight if he were to have it ran through by Bob Arum. So it was good that Triller paid good money for Teo to come over. But now the question remains, what are you going to do after this Cambosos fight? You still have to walk back to Bob Arum, and I think Bob Arum's going to screw Teo over. He's still under contract. But I mean, if Triller can try to buy out the contract and give Bob Arum like the money that he, quote unquote, promised Teo he was going to give him, it would probably be good for Triller to do that, but I don't think economically it's going to work out, because if Triller does buy out Teo is basically his own promoter now, and he would have to promote his own label, which, I mean, I don't like to think of boxing like the rap business, but it's kind of like that now. It's a lot harder to kind of get your name out there, and I think, well, I don't even say it like that. You just have to keep winning, but you have to beat top guys in the division, which you just have to keep beating higher level ranking opponents. And then if you could just become a free agent and not become a promoter's, fighter, where you're signing off long term contracts just to be there for X amount of time. No, that's pretty effed up. You should be able to get fights with whoever you want, but how you do it is that you make sure that your fights are with high level competition, and it's leading you to the title fight. That's basically what you want to do. You don't want to be fighting a bunch of no names and fighting a replacement fighter, blah blah blah. No, you need to fight a guy in the top contender rankings. That's how I see it, and I think that's how it should be for any fighter that gets into the sport to fight fighters that are well known in the division to become a world champion. That's how I see it. But for TeoFeHoe, this is not helping him. This is obviously destroying him. Because if he does want to stay with Triller, Triller is gonna take Bob Arum to some form of legal battle to try to buy out the contract for TeoFeHoe. Now the issue is that if TeoFeHoe is gonna keep continuing to fight bums, and he's gonna do the same thing when he moves up to 140, I don't think that's really going to help him. I think TeoFeHoe, before he even leaves 135, he said he got like a fight or two left. So I think like the last fight should be against Devin Haney, if he got balls. Don't know if that Donald Duck, pussy mentality is still in his head, because he is a ducker. So if he quacks again against Devin Haney, I won't be surprised, and Devin Haney should get all the damn belts. Fight for the WBC, fight for the WBO, and fight for the IBF. Fight for the WBA. Yeah, WBA. That's the last 3 belts he needs. But yeah, if Devin could get that, that would be awesome. But I think he's gonna leave pretty soon too. So I think Devin, he needs to get this fight with TeoFeHoe. If TeoFeHoe's not gonna be a bitch about it, and just get the fight made after this bullshit Kambosos fight. Have the fight made now, and then boom. That's going to be a firefight. Devin versus Teo. Pay-per-view. Let's go. But yeah, that's my second topic. I think that pretty much sums up everything what I wanted to say on that particular issue. Now let's talk about Mr. Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank Davis came out with a impressive tweet to say that I think it was on Instagram or Twitter. I don't really follow either of those social medias too much of fighters, but he basically said that his next fight is going to be a spectacular fight, but he gave the clue to say his fight is not at 135 and it's not at 130. So who may that be? I'm going to give a guess to say that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to possibly fight either Gary Russell Jr. or Mario Barrios, which I say that is a good fight for either path he takes. But here is the problem. Is Tank willing to cut that weight or move up in weight and still go back down to 130? That's a good question. Because if he goes to 140, Tank is gonna be big, man. He's gonna be way too big. I don't know. Tank is only 5'5", but looking at his framework, he can be built for a 147 pounder. I don't think so, but because guys are a lot taller and a lot longer with their height and reach advantage, so I think the highest Tank could really go is 140. He could dominate that division. He could easily dominate that. He could beat the crap out of Mario Barrios. I don't think Barrios has ever met a guy like Tank Davis at that type of level. That would be a good fight. If that were to not come to fruition, Gary Russell would be a good fight, but I think that fight should be at 130. I think him and Gary Russell should fight at 130 for all of his titles. So, or for his WBA super title, and I don't know who holds the WBC. Oh, Oscar Valdez, yes, he has a WBC. And then for the WBO is either Jamel Herring facing off against Carl Frampton. And then IBF is oh man, who holds the IBF? I keep forgetting. It's Tank Davis, he has the WBA. Who has the IBF? Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so the IBF is vacated. So I think Tevin Farmer is gonna come back and get his title. So that'll be good on his behalf for him to get the belt. So yeah, Tank, he has a lot of options here. He could have Gary Russell, come up, and then, he faces him, and if Tank is successful, that'd be a good fight on his resume. I think Floyd Mayweather just needs to step it up now. I think he's already coming to a point where Gervonta Tank Davis is ready for the world class fighters, and I think now is the time for him to face a guy like Gary Russell, or maybe Mario Barrios at 140 if he really wants to. Plus, TeoFeHoe is going to be there, and Devin Haney's going to be there, so he could beat the shit out of Teo, or he could go to war with Devin Haney, which I think Devin Haney's going to give him a tough ass fight. But TeoFeHoe, yeah, Tank is going to knock out TeoFeHoe. So, I don't know. I mean, he can fight Ryan Garcia at 140 for sure. Because Ryan, he's going to probably move up or probably stay at 135 to get all the belts at 135. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting battle of fights for all these young, high level contenders. So I think that's really what I have to say. I think Tank Davis, he's gonna make some noise. He said he's gonna return back in June because he broke his hand in sparring, so it's gonna probably take a couple weeks, if not months. Yeah, months I would say for him to fully recover from that. So prior to June, he's gonna be ready in like a month, and then he's gonna beat the living crap out of everybody that stands in his way. So I think that's gonna be awesome. So that's pretty much what I gotta say. I did pretty good in 20 minutes, so that's what I wanted to touch base on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Karen Rodriguez. I'll be back with another live stream in the future, and we out you. Thank you. Bye.